Hi, Mr. Hanson.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Hi, I'm good. How are you? Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
Deep breath before the
Turn my phone down or not?
Oh, I thought that was me.
Kendra's sick, by the way.
Oh, is she?
Was up there?
You guys been
Yeah.
fast.
She was sick along, she got sick.
I'll just grab them on the other side. Is that okay? All right. Do I get to do the little?
Is he, you say we're good?
There's a thumb up. Okay. Okay. First time for everything, right?
Yep.
Call our meeting back to order.
A couple of announcements. During closed session, we accepted the retirement of Debbie Turner, a longtime secretary at the high school. We wanted to make mention of that, and also Mary Ellen Culp, one of our veteran teachers at Wyman Elementary. Also, during closed session, the board has been talking about our representative for the Regional Teacher of the Year nomination. We accepted 6 nominations today with Michelle Pogue from Truman Elementary, Aaron Bartle from the middle school, Kelly McNevin from the high school, Rachel Drabzik from Mark Twain, Christy Lonning from Truman, and the board selected Aaron Dent to represent Rolla Public Schools. Aaron's a teacher at Rolla Junior High School in math, previously at the middle school. So congratulations to all the nominees. If Erin's watching tonight, which I doubt she is, that's how she's learned. That's how she's learning it. But we'll reach out to all of them, and again, congratulations to them.
Okay.
Okay,
You ready?
I'm ready. So one of the good things we get to do here is student recognition. So on top of that, for the first one is the Rolla Board of Education would like to recognize Carter Chance. Carter's story, A Legacy Towards Equality, was selected for publication in the 2019 Granny Annie Journal. Granny Annie is a means for students to learn, research, and interview skills through an examination of their own family history. This year's publication included 536 submissions from around the United States. Carter has been invited to present his own story in June at the Missouri History Museum in St. Louis, Missouri. So, congratulations.
Congratulations, Carter.
Okay.
We had one other winner, and we'll try to get them here next month. We couldn't coordinate schedules on the Granny Annie. So congratulations, Mom and Dad, too.
Yeah.
So the Rolla Board of Education would like to recognize the 2018-19 girls basketball team for a very successful season. The team finished the season 24-4 and 8-1 during Ozark Conference play. It was the first district championship in 14 years for the Rolla Lady Bulldogs. They also advanced to quarterfinal play for the first time since 1990. So team members and coaches, so you can come down when I call your name. Coach Luke Floyd. Coach Amy Luna.
We got several activities
Coach
going on
Kim
tonight.
Brand. Caitlin Brand. Olivia Birkin. Savannah Campbell. Kiara Crisco. I know. Dania Corley. Sarah Coverdale. Emma Floyd.
There we go.
Deanna Gardner. Rebecca Yankee. Carly Liebert. Madison Nace. Lauren Pritchett. And Ellie Rogers.
Ellie's at soccer.
Yeah.
Guys scoot together so we can get pictures of it.
Yeah, get in there.
Turn your right shoulders in on this side and your left shoulder in on the other side. There you go. I do wedding photography.
While we're waiting on pictures, I'll just say it was a great pleasure and a lot of fun watching the team this year from the stands.
Yeah, go to the podium, Coach. The micro,
Hear what he talks about.
yes.
I'll just say it was a pleasure to coach these girls. They were a great group. I kind of knew or had a hunch in the summertime, the way they got along, that we were going to have a pretty special year. What we did was beyond my wildest dreams, but they just came in every day, worked hard. The greatest strength of our team that I tell everyone was the team itself. We were very balanced. They just enjoyed coming to practice every day. They found the value in working hard. They really found the value in playing defense, and once we got that figured out, it just really took off on us. And it's just one of those years you'll always remember, and I just, like I said, truly blessed to be a part of this.
Good.
Good job, girls. Okay. At this time,
You guys are welcome to stick around. You can take the cookies with you, girls, if you want. All of these presentations, like Carter and what we've done, they're clipped on our YouTube channel. So in a few weeks, Gina will have those up, and you can watch your portion of the presentation of tonight's board meeting. So congratulations, everybody, parents and students. Appreciate it.
Cookie Carter.
Yeah, Carter, did you get a cookie? All the girls took them, so.
okay, you ready? At this time, any person wishing to speak on a question, any question previously discussed through administrative channels and not on the agenda will be granted 5 minutes to make a presentation to the board. Please state your name for the record. Okay. Any person wishing to speak on any items on the agenda will be granted 5 minutes to make a presentation. Please state your name for the record. Okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Our consent agenda is utilized by the Raleigh Board of Education as a means of dealing with routine matters, which must be considered by the Board of Education but require a minimum of discussion. All Board of Education members receive and review written information supporting the items listed on the consent agenda well in advance of the meeting, while any Board of Education members remove the item from the consent agenda for separate consideration or discussion. Normally, all items in the consent agenda are approved in one motion with a minimum of discussion. It's recommended that we approve items A through F.
I'll make a motion we approve the consent agenda items A through F.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. We'll move on to new business. Board policies.
I'll talk through that. You have 22 policies before you this evening. The policy committee is comprised of teachers, administrators. Lauren sits on it as well, and 2 school board members. We have, over the last 3 weeks, have met for just about an hour to go through several policies and APs, which are administrative procedures, and then AFs, were administrative forms. So what you have before you are 2/3 of the work, so the next meeting will have the last third, which we reviewed last evening at our last of 3 policy meetings. Typically, what we're going to try to do from here on out is have just a few policies and meet maybe more frequently, but less duration. A lot of these policies are rooted in changes in federal and state statutes, and then a lot of them are cleanups, because there's redundancy in some of the policies due to that very same thing. So what you approved under contracts in F under the consent agenda, the full maintenance service agreement policy, is what our pre-approved relationship with Missouri School Boards Association takes care of. So Myra is the one that coordinates the policies. She and I work together to put that into the agenda, and then the committee reviews them. So these are recommended after having been reviewed by the committee and then represented to MSBA. So happy to answer any questions.
Okay, well, I was going to go to the end.
Go.
GCD, which is virtual courses, so that's a new policy. I guess my first question has to do with the administrative policy that MSBA created. I'm assuming they sent that with the policy, but we didn't get a copy of it. So my question is, have you seen it? Is it workable for us? So this is a policy where we're approving the student courses. Are you following me?
Well, policy IGCD is the language that outlines for us the process that we would have to follow. I'm not sure what you're asking beyond.
He's asking if there's a related AP that.
There were some administrative forms that were sent.
But no AP.
No AP?
No AP, but they were the AFs. We didn't feel like the AFs were necessary yet, anyway. As of now, this is a small group. And the AFs were primarily for the appeal process, should we deny a student to take a course. Right now, we don't know of a good situation of good cause that we would deny that. We're working with students, in fact, to open up access to these courses. So at this point, we did not adopt any of the AFs.
Okay. But their explanation said that they had created an AP. And you said they have not, so, okay. And so they talk about the importance of having a process so that it is equal to all. And
So our process, we've included all of the launch information as a part of our course description book and the course selection process. And in the policy, it mentioned that we treat these equal to district-sponsored virtual courses, which we do have 2, and we're going to expand to 3 here soon, hopefully, district-sponsored virtual courses. So the sign-up process is the same. The contact person at the Rolla High School that will handle students face-to-face with this is Josh Smith, the assistant principal there. The counselors also have all of the information. So the process is similar. It's not the same because it's 2 different programs, but it's similar. And there are no barriers to sign up that we've erected at the high school for them to sign up for these classes.
so I know that we have a provider that we've used last summer, Springfield Public Schools. I don't know, can you tell me
So
how
right
many for-profit companies have signed up to provide courses in the state?
So as of now, there are only 2 groups that we have worked with, or if someone came to us and said, we need this course, and neither Launch is one group we work with, the other group we work with is Mizzou K-12 Online through the University of Missouri. Between those 2, those are 2 different approaches to online learning. One is more self-directed and more a traditional, what you might call a correspondence course, whereas Launch is more interactive with the teachers. So we have 2 different approaches. Right now, those would be the first 2 providers that we would go to try and find a course that students need. Should a family come to us with a desire to take an online course from someone else, all we would do is contact DESE to see if they're an approved MOCAP provider. If they are, then we would just move forward with that.
Okay.
So, but both of our providers that we use currently are approved. And so those are the ones that we go through right now.
Okay. One last question that has to do with how we manage this as it grows as far as facilities and personnel to supervise.
So right now, what we're using, and you're right, if it grows, we will have to change. Right now, the numbers are small enough that if the course takes place during, if the hole in the student's schedule to take the course is during the school day, right now, they're going to the ISS room where we have a teacher supervising. We also have another student that goes to an individual teacher's class that she works with to help her with it. Should this grow to the point that we're talking 15 to 20 students at a time, we would need to provide a lab space and someone to monitor that space. Now, they couldn't function as a teacher. Once they function as a teacher, this is no longer virtual education, but it would be student supervision that we would provide at that point.
Okay,
So,
thank you, Craig.
you're welcome. And just so you know, we are scheduled to get our promotional flyers for summer school. Just a plug for summer school. Summer school flyers went out to all the elementaries, middle school, high school this week. And our launch summer flyers are being printed now and will be here when we return from spring break. So those are on the way.
So we really should be experiencing spring soon. It's-
Spring.
We're talking
As
summer.
I walked into the middle school, I saw 2 geese flying north. That has to be a good sign, right? So, yes, it's on the way. It's on the way.
Okay, and we need action for that, right?
Yes.
I'll make the motion to approve the policies presented.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. We have some bids to look at. Is that you, Dr. Dare?
Yes, ma'am. So if you want to start over on page 166. Larry Moreland and I have been looking at our equipment primarily for lawn care. Obviously, with expansion of the properties over on Soest, had some concerns there. So he put these bids together just to kind of explain the bid sheet to make sure you know what you're looking at. The top two are the same tractor. The bottom two are the same tractor. So we asked for a couple different options. After doing some further research and looking at the uses for the tractor, we feel like the 37.5 horse at the top is the better economic value for the district. So our recommendation would be the top one from Sourcewell, the 37.5 horse. And that does include a front end loader and a brush hog cutter for the back.
Do we need to approve these one at a time?
Do them one at a
Yep.
time?
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the purchase of the top
I'll
from
make it.
Sourcewell,
I'll
the
make a
2019?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay.
Okay, on 167, just a little background. Every 3 years, we bid our contracted services for student services. So that's speech language, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and vision therapy services. We'll be presenting to you all of those tonight except speech language. Those we'll do for the next meeting. It's a little more involved. So tonight, we have the other three. So first is the visually impaired. We did have a contractor that was working with us up through about January, had some personal reasons that she was no longer able to continue. So we brought in the Ability Network and Christy Williams. She's done a great job for us up to this point. Dr. Reed and I met with her. She is very happy to continue serving our district. And so as she is the only bid we have, and she's doing a good job for our students, our recommendation is that we continue with her.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I would make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Okay, page 168 is for occupational therapies. As you can see, there are several from outstate. So there's kind of a movement in these therapy services for teletherapy type things. We have had to use some of those services in the past. Obviously, they're not ideal. We prefer face-to-face services for our students. So our recommendation to you tonight is, forget what she calls herself, Inspiring Therapeutics, Ashley Daniels. Ashley's been our occupational therapist for some time, does a great job, and we would like to continue using her.
They all, obviously, they all know what each other charges because they're all like within $1 of
Correct.
each other.
Yes, correct.
Or they make it up on a different.
Or they find it somewhere else,
Right,
yes.
Right.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve Inspiring Therapeutics for our OT services?
I'll make that motion that we approve the contract for Inspiring Therapeutics.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right.
And
Physical therapy.
physical therapy, page 169. Again, several from out of state. As Tony pointed out, the costs are very reasonably close. However, Tracy Phoenix has been doing our services for quite some time, and if you'll notice, she is the cheapest face-to-face for certain, but is one of the cheaper ones on here in general. But she does a great job, and our recommendation would be to continue with Tracy Phoenix.
So some of these would do, are you saying, Kyle, that some of these would propose doing physical therapy, tele?
Some of the, well, so what they do is they hire an aide, essentially, and then their therapist, though, may be in New Jersey, and just directing the aide through video
Wow.
function, yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the bid from Tracy Phoenix.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay. Our future issues, our April board meeting is Thursday, the 11th. Our May are the 2nd and the 16th. And then do we need to go ahead and decide about June, or, I know it's been like that for a while,
Just a couple points. First, we have the election, so
April 2nd?
glad that all three of our candidates are here, Mr. Parsons, and Dr. Lusk, and Mr. Packard. So that April 11th meeting will be the reorganization meeting, as stated, but would also ask that, given that we're in the height of recruiting and hiring season, if you can maybe think about some Friday possibilities, 7:30 a.m. for hiring meetings upstairs, like we do typically during the month of June, trying to get, we're interviewing virtually every day and got some heavy positions coming up that we're recruiting for. So it'll be a notice where Myra says, we've got 5 or 6 ready, can you be here on Friday? And we'll post the meeting, and again, it'll just be a quick 15, 20 minutes to try to get people hired before they get away to some other district. Other than that, the April 11th is the formal meeting, and the other dates are pretty solid. We will have a June 30 meeting as well at 7:30 a.m. to close out the books for the fiscal year. It's not listed under June board meetings, but that's an early morning too. Once in a while, we'll have a hire or two in there as well.
Is there something there that we need you need an action on?
We do, yeah, take action on those. Yeah, it's listed as action.
Well, which June meeting?
Oh,
Because all of them have been in here for a while, but the June meeting, I guess we would need to make a
Yeah.
decision on.
and the availability for your Fridays, whatever Fridays are in April that we may need.
June 30th is on a Sunday, so I'm assuming it'll be
That's
June
a good
28th.
day. So we know you're not at work.
So,
Hey, some of us are at work.
Yes, true. The Friday before.
So 28.
28.
June 28.
Sorry.
Does
Thank you.
anybody have any Fridays that are not available in April?
Yeah, it may be one, it may be all of them. I don't,
June 20th.
we'll just,
Keep our eyes open.
yeah.
And then we need to decide on June 6 and June 13.
I'm going to be gone both of those days, so I will not be here either one of them.
And the 28th.
I'll be here.
And June 28th. Will you be the 28th?
Yes.
Mrs. Atkinson was leaning toward the 6th for payment of bills,
Okay.
but
Yeah, did you hear that?
Yes?
Yeah, by the way, Mrs. Atkinson is home ill, so the 6th is what she was leaning toward for the payment of bills, and then if that's possible, and then the 28th would be our fiscal closeout of the year.
June 6th work for the rest of us? Okay. I I need a motion to approve what we just discussed with the June 6th, the June 28th, and the possible Fridays for meetings.
I'll make a motion that we approve those no board meeting dates.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Old business. Long-range facility and program update.
Myra will pull up the slide again that we used last week. Just keep this out in front of you until the survey is complete. It's in its final stages, I would say, but I want to make sure that, yesterday I spoke at the chamber luncheon about the 7 areas. The first one being safety and security, those things that are beyond what are, that was divine.
Time's up.
We've added music.
Safety and security, those things that are beyond the scope of what our normal maintenance technology efforts would be able to work through. Those are things that change infrastructure in buildings and communication devices. As been noted before, we have, over 90 doors at the high school, for example. We're working with East Central in this building, for example, on Alert Us, doing some partnership work to try to test some prototypes that would expand out to greater extent in the building. But we'll have some specific ideas and what the scope of those projects would be as you click a question on safety and security. But so we continue our work. For example, we have a first responders lunch on April 2nd, where we meet with police and fire, because first responders are beyond the active shooter safety. It's fire, tornado, any other kind of event that would occur, earthquake. We meet with them frequently, and this is another meeting that Dr. Dare and Mr. Fridley are planning. The second one has got the largest amount to comprehend, the performing arts facility, auditorium, that would include at the high school some library renovation too, just like at Truman. But the first option, there'll be 2 parts to that question. Should we build a standalone facility at the high school, auditorium for the student population, or should we reconfigure or repurpose the gymnasium into an auditorium with other storage and classroom spaces for band and music, and then build a new gymnasium field house that will have multi-purpose capabilities? So there'll be 2 parts to that question. There are 2 ways to attack that priority issue for us, and we'll let the community weigh in on which one they like the best. Junior high school, band and music, weight training, physical education. That number 3 deals with, we knew when we moved the band over to the high school, junior high school, moving 7th grade there, that we were stressing some of the spaces for instrumental and vocal music. So this would allow for us to repurpose the existing band and choir room to more of a physical education weight facility, and look at expanding the junior high school and renovating for more classroom space for those performing arts areas. Also, junior high school, number 4, the science lab renovations. Those labs there, similar to the high school in age when we touched those in 2010. At the high school, just new cabinetry, new casework, new sinks, etc., for lab experiences there. Number 5, the early childhood expansion has been shared with you before. Our program has grown and flourished, and we have a waiting list. Part of the waiting list has occurred because of the closure of a couple of our early childhood program centers in community, and we're hoping one of them to come back online next year. But those were our direct partners that we were transporting students to and from. And so if we're going to expand early childhood programming, right now our capacity is half of the kindergarten class. And so at 4-year-olds at half a day. And so the consideration there is, should we expand our capabilities for early childhood programming? The Truman Library would also, one of the schematics there includes a new entrance to the building. Be similar to what you possibly see at Mark Twain, where you enter the building and the library's to the right, office is straight ahead. Right now, the library's in the center of the building. Is more of a pod concept, not conducive to learning, and certainly it'd be a nice lobby area, atrium area to gather, as opposed to a library. And then the last one, the renovation of RTI. with some flexible spaces, shop spaces to accommodate many programs that could be affiliated with RTI that are beyond maybe even what are there, plus renovation of the restrooms in that building. That's a building that was built in the 70s, and it's a real nice facility. We just need to pay some attention to that. So, interesting conversation with a few people after the presentation yesterday. When you look at the totality of our facilities, long-range facilities plan, it's daunting and overwhelming. It took a long time for us to get to a spot to those things are on the list. It's going to take us a long time to work through them. So getting to work on a 10-year plan is important, and you have to start somewhere. And those 7 priorities did not just come without a lot of thought from you. We spent 2 retreats walking through that and a work session. We spent a whole year studying our district facilities with a committee made up of people from the community and the district and the city employees. So it's putting that into operation. So we're very hopeful to get that survey going soon. And I'll let Dr. Dare talk about some plans he has coming up with our architects.
I would just add, so we've been working, trading images back and forth, so to speak, with the architect, kind of on the back side of that survey. So when you go into the survey, you see the language, you would click on the images to see floor plans, renderings, videos, whatever the case may be, different for each one of those areas. But we're getting really close to those. Hopefully we'll have at least some of those pieces where we can show those to you soon. Also, Monday, our architects are coming back down to take some additional readings and images of the high school. Obviously, again, as Dr. Zales mentioned, that performing arts facility and auditorium project is a little bigger scope. So trying to make sure that they get us good, accurate readings, good, accurate images, so we can be clear on what we're proposing.
Happy to answer any questions.
Did they give you any idea of the turnaround time on the images?
So we're real close on those, and I would say we will have those for you all to preview at the very latest by the next meeting. So it's getting close. Our target goal is to have the survey where we can send that out before school's out, so we can have time for feedback while school's still in session. It gives us the summer to look over the responses and start having those further conversations. But we're hoping to have those within the next couple weeks.
Cool. Very exciting.
Will any of those renderings have motion to them, like a video?
So the only one that's really going to have the motion, or at least at this point is still our intent, would be on that performing arts process, and having some visual imagery and some 3D dimension to those.
Yeah.
The others are a little more difficult to do at this point, and trying to just get at some general feedback from the community, not wanting to give specifics on what we're doing, just more get feedback from them on what they'd like to see. So more on those about site placements and just general feel for where things would be within the buildings.
I was just thinking, as you push that survey out via social media or whatever, things that move seem to catch people's
Sure.
eye and attention and
Well,
interest.
correct me if I'm wrong, but also the conversion of the gymnasium as the option under question 2 into an auditorium is hard to think about unless you see it.
You see it, yeah.
And that's one of the more powerful parts to the technology that the architect's using. It erases what it is. And you have a hard time conceptualizing that without seeing it like that. So.
Yeah, at the meeting at the lake, it was interesting. There's a lot of examples of the ones they've done at other schools, and it was amazing to me. I mean, you had some of them intentionally still had an auditorium or a gymnasium look about them, with just tying in some historical wood flooring and different things, but others, I mean, I don't know that you could have started from scratch and built anything that looked any nicer. Thought it was great.
I'm excited to see pictures.
Yeah, it's
Good.
Pictures are good.
much more, Tony, I guess, than just moving some seats and building a stage.
Yes.
Definitely.
True performing arts center.
Okay, anything else on that? All right. Lauren,
All right, everyone.
Some thoughts for us?
Yeah, of course. Okay. So first of all, I wanted to give you some updates on what's going on with the band. Hopefully some of you got out to the St. Pat's Parade, and the band does that every year, and we were really happy about that. And tomorrow, the band is headed to our state competition. So just kind of to give you some information how that works, we don't have a districts. We go directly to state, but it's still within our district area. It's split up to where each district area will go and perform, and then they'll get scores, and that's their state score, because it wouldn't be practical to send every band in the state to one place, right? So that's going to be tomorrow for our whole band. So our band will perform 2 songs, and then we'll get judged on those, a gold, silver, or a bronze rating. And then after that, we will go and we'll sight read, and we'll play a piece we've never seen before, and then we'll get judged on that too. And then also on Saturday, we will send solos and ensembles to the same location, but for them, it's their districts. It's kind of confusing. So the solos and ensembles will go, and they will perform and get judged, and if they get a gold rating, they can go on to state. And so I'm almost sure we'll have a couple of people going to state. And then some news, our drama department. I'm hoping you guys got out to the play I've been trying to tell you to go to. Also, we had I guess this isn't drama, this is choir, but we had the variety show last Friday and Saturday, and I believe the variety show and the play were almost completely sold out every night, so that's exciting. And I don't know if you all are aware, but this year we have our first competitive drama class. And so those students on March 6th, earlier this month, they went to their first district competition, and they put on a short, like 1-act performance for 30 minutes. They didn't advance to state, but today during school, those drama kids from competitive drama put on the same show for every English class to go and watch today, and it was really amazing. Let's see. Spring sports are all starting. Everyone's busy with spring sports, baseball, soccer's going on. I mentioned last board meeting the Junior High National Honor Society. Just an update on that. There were actually 300 students enrolled or inducted into the Junior National Honor Society earlier this week. We just had all of our parent-teacher conferences. Those went really well. Our Future Career and Community Leader Association, FCCLA, they went to state. And that was the 17th through the 19th, their state leadership conference. I'm not sure exactly how that works, if they compete or if they just kind of go and learn. I can't tell you exactly how their conference works, but they did go to state. And then lastly, our kindergarten screening. I saw this online. Maybe you can tell me a little bit more about that, but that starts April 19th at Central Office. And that's all the updates I can think of for you today. Thank you.
Aren't you off school next week?
Oh, yeah, spring break. Biggest news of all. I'm very excited. Yeah, we are, after this, I have nothing to do for a week, so it's going to be very nice.
And you endured the policy committee, too.
I actually really like the policy committee. It's a little outside of my, expertise, but it was interesting just to see how it all works, so.
I remember hearing the kindergarten screening dates, but I don't remember them all, Gina.
8th, 9th, and 10th. Got one.
Is it Monday, Mark Twain, Tuesday, Truman, Wednesday, Wyman, like we've done before? I love that. Any school visits, anybody has?
Charlotte, before we pass through that, any kindergarten families watching, we do have this year the ability right now to go on and do the online registration, so that all of that is finished for you when you come to your screening during kindergarten screening. So we've been pushing that out through social media, but that is open, and any incoming kindergarten families should go on and complete that, so it's all done for them.
Save some of that paperwork
Yes.
time while you're here. That's great. School visits. Anybody?
Well, I went to the Rolla Middle School to their family fun night in STEAM. So it's kind of nice. There were several local businesses that were there. Got to shoot some rockets off with Missouri S&T students.
Cool.
So that was a lot of fun. But it looks like they had a really good turnout.
Very good. It was rescheduled because of the weather. Is that the one?
Yes, that's correct.
I got to go to one of the nights of the NHS induction at the junior high. It was really special. It was very special. Anybody else?
I wanted to mention April 11th, I had it written down and forgot. We're recognizing Jamie. We're having a reception, so we'll start a little bit, we'll start before 5. We'll get some formal invitations out, but if people want to drop by and say thank you to Jamie for 11 years of service on the Board of Education, they can do that. We'll have closed session after the meeting, and so the open session will begin at 5:30 as normal, but up before that, we'll have some time where we can have some light refreshments and pay homage to Mr. Myers.
We're working on a raffle to try to get people to attend.
Celebrating 11 years on April 11th.
11 on 11, that's good. But thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Other dates to remember, we have our spring regional meeting, April 8th, down in Bourbon. The reception and the other board meetings are mentioned there as well. Is there anything else before we go back into closed session?
Might be some minor little vote coming up in the near future.
The April 2nd vote?
Yeah, April 2nd.
April 2nd. Get out and vote. Okay,
Make a motion, we go to closed session.
thanks, Jamie.
I'll second that.
Yes.
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 Yeah,
Yes.
yes. Everybody's looking down the line. We were waiting for you to say yes.
Ford brought it down. He had to bring several students. We can do it real fast. Well, we're trying to